Hi, Trainer Emily here, and welcome to Training Tip Tuesday. This week we have a special guest, Dr. Nellie Getz from our veterinary hospital here at the Santa Fe Animal Shelter, and Bella. Hi, Bella. And today she's going to help us talk a little bit about heat and the risks of heat, because we're doing our series on out and about with your dog, and as the summer gets warmer, there are some increased risks. So, Dr. Getz, go ahead.
Take it away.
Take it away. Tell us a little bit about heat.
So one of the things that you really want to be aware of when you've got your pet out on walks is you want to be aware of what kind of surface your pet is on. So if you think about the fact that out here in lovely New Mexico, we have sun almost year round, and especially when we're dealing with the summer, the hours of the day are longer, the sun is out more, it's hotter during the day. And so if you've got your pet and you're out walking around downtown or around your house, like I said, just be aware of what kind of surface you've got your pet on. If it's pavement, especially if it's blacktop or any kind of dark colored pavement, that can actually burn your pet's paws pretty quickly. So one of the things that you want to make sure that you do before you take your pet out for a walk is whatever surface you think you're going to be walking on, you want to hold the back side of your hand. It's a little bit more sensitive than your palm because the skin is thinner. The back side of your hand straight down on the surface that you're walking your dog on. If you can hold your hand there for more than 7 seconds, then it's okay for your pet to walk on it. So if it's too hot for you to hold your hand there for 7 seconds, then it's too hot for your pet to walk on that. And there's a couple different things that you can do to kind of minimize that sort of exposure. You can pick light colored surfaces, like kind of the sand area that we've got out here in the play yard. You can pick grass, or you can pick a shady spot, which is where we're sitting with Bella right now. So that's rule 1 that's pretty important. Rule 2 that's pretty important is your pet loves you and they want to be with you wherever you go. So even if it's too hot out for them, they may not necessarily act like they don't want to go with you. Instead, one of the things that you're going to see, which Bella's demonstrating for us wonderfully right now, is panting. So the rule is the longer your dog's tongue gets, the hotter your dog is. So if you see them really laying their tongue out to the side, really panting a lot, especially if they start salivating or if they start acting tired, those are signs of impending heat stroke. You want to get your pet out of the sun immediately. You want to get them to a cool spot. Shade is great, but inside an air-conditioned place is even better. Get them cold water, get ice on their feet. Dogs lose heat through their feet and they sweat through their feet. They're not able to sweat through their body like we are. So the ways they lose heat are through panting and through their feet. So try to get them out of that hot environment as soon as you can. If your dog becomes unresponsive when you're out in the heat and playing, that's a medical emergency. Your dog needs to go see the vet immediately. And then last but not least, for those of us that have dogs that like to live outside, just make sure that there are 3 things you want to cover. Your dog has a shady place like this, or like a dog house that they can get out of the direct sun and out of the heat. You want to make sure they always have access to water. If you're gone during the day at work, one of the best ways to do that is to put out a bowl of regular water and to put out a frozen bowl. You can stick a bowl of water in the freezer at night. By the morning, it's going to be frozen. You set that out, and by the end of the day, that's definitely going to be melted, and that's going to make sure that you don't have water that evaporates all day.
Excellent. Thank you. Are there types of dogs that are at greater risk to heat issues? And what about like sunscreen for our lighter skinned dogs? Is that okay?
So if you're going to use sunscreen for your dogs, that's a great question. You want to make sure that it is animal sunscreen. So human sunscreen has zinc in it. That's part of what makes it white. And zinc can actually be toxic to animals. They're not able to process it the way that people are. So if you're going to put sunscreen on your dog, which is a great idea if you've got a thin skin, lighter skin dog, especially on the nose and on the top of the head, make sure that you use pet sunscreen. And animals that are a little bit more prone to having issues with the heat include dogs like our little friend Bella here, who may have a few extra pounds on her like me. Dogs that have short noses, which Bella does, also includes boxers, bulldogs, Pekingeses, Pomeranians, Shih Tzus, things like that. And then dogs that have a long hair coat. So if you think about, we have a lot of Great Pyrenees and Shepherds in this area as well. If they've got a long hair coat, imagine if you were standing outside in this weather right now with a total fur coat on, and that's what they feel like. So definitely be more aware with those guys. And older dogs too have a little bit of a harder time with the heat.
Great. Thank you so very much, Dr. Getz.
Absolutely.
And thank you, and I'll see you next week.